Hello, welcome to the Politics Chicks podcast. I'm Monica Healy,
And I'm Christy Branham.
and today we are joined by photographer Erik Espeland. He is the person behind one of the most iconic images to come out of the protests here in Minnesota. Erik has been behind the camera for decades, documenting moments that tell bigger stories, and the photo he captured that day has become a powerful visual symbol of what many people were feeling in that moment. We're really glad to have him here to talk about the story behind that image and the role art plays in documenting history. So welcome, Erik.
Hi, Erik. Thank you for
Hey,
coming on. We're so excited to have you.
yeah, who knew that this would turn into this?
Before we,
Right? Right?
well, and tell us about yourself and how this segued into this big image.
All this turned
And my
into
cat
this.
is meowing.
Well, I have a art degree, graphic design degree, and worked my way through Target Corporate and worked in the photo studio there for a long time. Um, I was never behind the lens there, but I learned a lot. I was a coach for my son's Little League team for a number of years. And when it got time to hang it up in that role, I needed to take my nervous energy out and I redirected it to behind the camera. So that's where the real work and learning started. Um, so I've been actively shooting for about 7 years, thousands of images a year, and professionally for the last 3. Um, I usually shoot sports, kids sports, baseball specifically. I was just out in Las Vegas for my son's baseball tournament this past weekend, taking photos, but it's turned into something, something bigger than I thought. We lived in South Minneapolis before we moved out here, and where we used to live, it was right by the 3rd Precinct, if you're familiar with that, where
Mhm.
everything started with the riots.
Yeah.
And that's where my the political angle, I guess, to document things started because it was home. And yeah, so that's the layer with this. I see present times and current events, and I want to document that not just for me, but for my kids. So that's how I decided to grab my camera for this event, where I took a picture of Dan on the corner.
I'm going to just throw a picture up on the screen of Dan so that we can take a look at it. I'm sure that most of our readers and listeners have already seen it. It's just so iconic and it's striking. Like your editing is amazing. So,
That it was it was unplanned to really go and do something as big. People dream their whole lives of capturing something so monumental, and I just happened to grab my camera, and my wife wanted to go work out, so I said, "No, I'm just going to take pictures of the protest." And just doing photo shoots for years, you understand composition and lights and layout. And yeah, I waited for that wind to kick up and blow that flag over. I got down on one knee and shot up. And when I saw it on my computer, I just kind of stopped breathing. It was something.
yeah, and I'm a visual artist. So I'm looking at it from the composition, the perspective, the way that you edited it, the choices
Yeah,
you made with the editing to make the flag's colors stand out against more of a desaturated background and him stand out in those boots. Monica, you were talking about the boots
I
on
love the
him.
boots. They're so Minnesota.
yeah.
Yeah.
Muckluck saw the picture, so
Oh, did they?
figured Muckluck. Oh yeah. Oh, it's I did the oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure. For our listeners, this photo was taken in Minnetonka, which is a western suburb of Minneapolis. And it was in between the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And do you live close to Minnetonka, Erik?
Yeah, I'm just west of that that corner about 10 minutes, just right outside of
Okay.
Excelsior.
Okay. So we're all actually in the same congressional district. Monica and Eric and I, we're in, are we District 3? I can't remember. It's Kelly Morrison's district. Um, but this is a pretty large district because we're up in Maple Grove and you're down near Excelsior, which is,
Yeah, just in
are you close to
Shortwood
the
Wire.
lake?
Yeah, yep. We're
Yeah.
just on the south end of the lake. Not on
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
pretty darn close.
Cool. Um, Yeah, from the minute that when you said that it took your breath away, this took my breath away when I saw it. Just the emotional impact of it, it's stunning.
Yeah,
It's and it
thank.
yeah.
Um,
With your experience with visual art, one of my favorite things of having attended so many protests in the last year are all the signs, and
yeah,
not just what they say, but the visual of them too. Have you made signs yourself?
my daughter has. She's 15, so she's made a few. Um, I've been holding two cameras at the same time, so to hold a sign is kind of impossible, especially with the backpack as well. Um, I love the creativity, like you said. Uh, Chaska has some great ones as well. I've been down there a few times. Um, just the imagery and the quippy texts that are on there. There are a lot of creative people, and creative people seem to grab onto each other. You know, it's almost when I was at Target, um, and in the studio, I thought of it as kind of like the island of misfit toys, if you will. Um, all a little quirky, all a little different, but we all really mesh. And I think that's where a lot of these people really gel is at these protests. I don't know if that makes any
Hmm.
sense at all, but I have noticed a common denominator, and that seems to be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Christy have the commonality of being a visual artist, and I'm a creative type too, but I'm a musician, and I have participated in the singing resistance. And Minnesota is home to a huge choral community, countless choirs and choral composers, and uh, the singing resistance literally marched through the streets of Minneapolis, and we stopped at various hotels that ICE was known to stay at, and sang. And that's pretty powerful to have that art as protest, as resistance.
That's amazing. Um, it really makes you wonder what these folks think when they hear song like that. Does it resonate within them? I mean, it's so deep, and I hate to feel that people are soulless and it doesn't resonate within them to some degree, but it really makes you wonder.
That cognitive dissonance of being able to rationalize that
Yeah,
within yourself, the fact that you are doing this job that is so cruel
yeah,
and so calloused and so disrespectful to other people's humanity. Yeah,
yes.
I can see that. Um well, and I as an artist, I know I've tried to really kind of delve into my community, into my creativity a little bit more, especially recently because this is very stressful. In one way as creatives, I think that creativity is a way of coping for
Oh
us.
yeah,
Um
exactly.
And I know for me, it's hard because I have to carve the time out of my day to actually do something. I don't do photography, I do digital art and I write, I do
Sure.
prose and poetry. So I have to carve time out of my day. But you have this, you're like a troubadour. You're walking around with this camera and you're creating this visual melody of this of what we're going through in Minnesota, and I just think that that is an amazing legacy that you are going to leave behind.
Well, thanks. I haven't heard it put quite that way, but I'm flattered. Um, it's I'm very modest when it comes to this. Maybe that's the Minnesotan in me. Um, I just like to, I usually like to paint in my creative time. And photography thing
Oh,
is a sports thing, but I paint and watercolor and illustrated. I do some books. I've done some books, but yeah, I never, that is what I love to do. I mean,
Hmm.
if my
the
photography
painting.
thing isn't number one, but yeah,
It's hard to
but
find that time though, isn't it? Just,
oh,
I almost feel guilty. I feel guilty when I'm taking time away from this whole resistance thing. I think we've all internalized it, especially for people like Monica and I, because we literally are on social media all day trying
oh
to
yeah,
keep, doing posts and keep up on the news so that we can keep our followers apprised of what's going on with information that's accurate and vetted, and that takes time. And I feel guilty if I sit down to do something that's purely creative.
I understand that wholeheartedly, and it's not like you could just flip it on like with a switch. I mean, for
No,
me, you kind of have to, defrost a bit from other things and get it. You have to be in the mood. You just can't flip it on like a light. And
right.
sometimes that's hard, especially when, like you said, there's so many other things going on. I've got 3 kids. We've got a wife and 2 dogs. It's impossible. Well, at least with the camera, you can capture it in the moment.
Right.
You recognize some things like that.
And it forces you to be in the present moment too,
Oh yeah,
where art doesn't allow you to do that. Art takes you out of the present moment. Photography forces you to stay in the moment, which I think
yeah.
is a very cool perspective.
Another wonderful thing with the photography piece is that people see you with the camera and you engage with other people and you gain stories and you build the verbal narrative along with the photo, so you get to complete a much bigger picture. Um, I think that's the powerful thing that a photographer can bring to the masses, if you will.
This
Yeah.
iconic photo that you took that prompted us to seek you out. You mentioned Dan. And that's the name
Yeah,
of your subject. Did you
that's
talk
the
to
thing.
him?
It was 2 weeks later, 2 weeks of the day that I formally met him. He was out the following Wednesday, and people approached him and said, "You're the guy." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Is "You're the guy on the internet. You're." So I met him the following 2 weeks later, like I said, and I said, um, "I want to thank you for being the face of Minnesota." I said, "You have no idea how far this has reached." I I was welling up from just seeing him accept this information because I from what I've been able to determine, it's been around the globe, everywhere from Thailand to Tasmania to Japan, all of Europe, South America. It's nutty. I think I tallied it up close to 10 million views.
Oh my
Wow.
Um,
gosh.
Wow.
um, y- it, yeah. So I told him all of this, and he's laughing, just like the typical Minnesotan. Uh, and he says, let's ride this wave. So we're just gonna post this, and hopefully people latch onto it and see the symbolism behind it. And I mean, I don't think you can get any more Minnesota symbolic
No, the muckluck
than
boots.
that.
Are you
Uh,
right?
yeah, the older grizzled guy with the beard, and he happened to be staring straight at me. I mean, I don't. I made a comment on Threads. I said, Minnesotans, I think I've got my state fair submission. And this one woman said, that is the most Minnesotan modest thing you can possibly say.
Well,
Yeah.
there have been many iconic photos to come out of all of this. We had
Oh
Van
yeah,
Ramos in his little bunny hat, and Leah Rahman was the woman that was ripped out of her car as she inadvertently tried to drive through the protests.
yeah,
And then just last week, Sam Struzas, I hope I'm saying her name right. Somebody can tell us if we need to make a correction. The NPR producer that was captured by a Star Tribune photographer observing ice in her bathrobe, on
That
the streets of St. Paul. But yours stands up there with those. And on social media, at least, people talked about this is a Pulitzer Prize winning photo. Has has that
uh,
ever been on your radar?
no, oh gosh, no. Yeah, I
Gosh, no.
um, it's Time, Pulitzer, Nat Geo. I'm just some, I'm just some dad from Sherwood with the camera, and I
Right?
never intended to do this. I will gladly take any awards if anybody's willing to dish them out. But no, that was never in my wildest dreams that I expect to have that. I mean, it was been hundreds of times, that mentioned. I will ride that wave like Dan said, but no, I never expected that on that random Wednesday.
I think Monica and I can identify with that a little bit because we just started off as two Midwestern middle aged moms on the internet a year ago in January. And, you know, building the politics chicks and like becoming this I don't know if you want to how would you describe this, Monica? I don't even know how to describe what happened. But it's surreal for us too because like you
Sure.
said, every time someone asks us about it, I'm like, I'm just like a Midwestern woman mom who lives in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Like that's how I see myself. I think Monica can agree that we're both makes you be a little bit agog about what's going on and you're like, how did this
Absolutely.
happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned your love of photographing youth sports. Did
Yeah.
that come from your own children or was that before them?
It was when my son started travel ball. Um, like I said, I needed to get some nervous energy out instead of planting my butt in a camp chair. And there's a lot of nervous parents that are at travel baseball. Um, so yeah, that was a way to ease my head instead of sitting there. And that's how I really got to learn a lot about kids and boys and relationships. And that's branched off into, other sports too. It's softball, volleyball, football. So it's fun to see these kids grow up. I usually shoot Minnetonka folks, but it's branched off into other communities as well. But um, yeah, I guess that's it.
You described yourself to us as a national parks geek, and
Yeah.
you recently shared photos of Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah. And I assume you did a little stop by there. You mentioned your son had a tournament in Vegas, correct?
Yep. My son and I did this trip 2 years ago, and we made it a longer weekend. They played Friday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but we went out last time for an extra couple of days to Zion. Well, I told my wife and my daughters that we should do this. So we all five of us flew out and did Zion for a couple of days and Bryce for a couple of days. And, going out and hiking and getting away from electronics and seeing nature really kind of resets you. At least it resets me.
Yes.
Um, and the one thing that's nice about those parks in the winter is that there's nobody there. Um, and you get to park to yourself. And I mean, it was just amazing. Yeah, we've
Do
done
you have a favorite national park?
oh, that's a tough call. Um, I really fell for Olympic in
Yeah.
Washington a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
just because of the diversity, the mountains and the ocean and the rainforest. It's a different animal. My kids would say Yellowstone just because of all the wildlife. Um, Bryce went up there real quick just because of the snow on the hoodoos. There's a reason why there's so many national parks, which is just, it makes me so irritated that this current administration is doing what it's doing to the national park
Yes.
system. I'm sure Teddy
Yes.
Roosevelt will be rolling over in his grave. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah,
Absolutely. the funding, the mining, potential mining, the potential selling off of public lands that have been
Yep.
part of America's legacy as far as the beauty of our country. It's just
Yep.
startling.
And the fact that the appointee for the National Park Service is a hospitality guy in a hotel,
Yeah.
and there's no real interest from the national parks folks to have him there. It's a mess.
Yeah.
We could talk a lot about the big mess that is happening here in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have like a map and like do you have all the national parks in the country pegged out so that you can put pins in the map? I've even seen like there's like this Yeti that you can get that's personalized and it
Mhm.
comes with stickers and you get the stickers in the Yeti and then you put a
No
sticker on
kidding.
every time you go to a part. Yeah, I saw it. I think I saw it on
No.
Etsy. But are you
No.
gonna try to go hit them all before you're done here? Or
I would love to. I think we're at 22 or
wow.
so. My neighbors just this past summer were able to hit the last. They went to Guam and saw that national park. So they've hit all 61.
Wow.
All
That's impressive.
five of them. So I mean, there are 430 some odd units. So I mean,
Yeah.
like trying to get those too. Everyone's important for a different reason. But
Yes.
you know, if you get the little national parks passport, I mean, it fuels our want for travel, and it helps us plan our vacations. We love to go different places all over the country, and that's the impetus for this whole thing is that little blue national parks passport.
Right. Right. Well, now and you can get a Yeti too, so
Now I
you
can
can
get
like
it.
bring it with you. So yeah, yeah. So that
That's
is
another
so
one that I
cool.
think we could take on is travel and the
Mhm.
perspective that that brings. And I think it's people like us that have that experience of travel and seeing what other people are living and doing. Travel just brings such a great perspective.
I agree.
The Yeah, the multicultural element, you know, everything from Arizona and picking up Indian fry bread out of Casa Grande National Monument, to,
Mm.
you know, some of the places that we were at, local cuisine down in rural Nevada, and, you know, going and seafood up in Washington from natives up there. I mean, it's just amazing when you start to talk to people and talk about things and food, and having my kids witness this, and I feel like they're becoming better people.
Do they know the story behind fry bread, or do you know the story behind fry bread?
No.
And it's indigenous. And what happened was back when Native Americans were forced to live on reservations, the government would give them rations. And the rations were there was no fresh fruits, no vegetables, no meat. Um, but they would get flour and baking powder. And so, in order to survive as their main carbohydrate, they developed fry bread and
No
they got
kidding.
cooking oil too. So they would take the flour and the baking powder and the and water and make the dough for fry bread.
Yeah.
And so it's a very it's kind of a part when you talk to Native Americans about it, some of them are really conflicted about it because to them it
Sure.
reflects the colonialism and the
Sure.
what was taken away from them. I know I'm not Amwani. How do I say that? The restaurant downtown. Um,
Oh, with the sous chef?
yeah, yeah. I know that they
Come
don't
on.
serve it there for that reason. They don't do any
Really?
colonial based food. It has to be all indigenous food, but they chose not to do fry bread. But then I just saw in some travel show that there's a place out in Colorado that specializes in their fry breads and they make like these burritos and tostadas and stuff in fry bread instead of
Sure.
using tortillas. So yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You learn
Everything's
those.
got a story,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
not always the
thanks for
best.
sharing the part of your story with us.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's really hard to put yourself out there as an artist, I think, and I know myself, I put out a very small fraction of what I actually create just because I'm concerned about what other people are going to think about it.
Oh, sure.
What were your thoughts when you saw this photo and you put it out there? Like what was your immediate thought, and then what was your reaction to what actually happened?
Um,
Okay.
what did I think? Um, I posted it,
Yes.
I shot it at say 6. I posted it at 10, and I didn't think anything of it. I liked it, and I just put it out there into the ether. And at midnight, my watch and phone started to vibrate constantly, and I woke me up out of a dead sleep, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I looked at my phone, and with Threads, you've got the ticker with the likes, and it was
Yeah.
constant. And I had no idea that it was going to resonate. Um, Maybe that's the modesty in me. But yeah, I had to change all my privacy settings. I had to change my name. I had to delete personal photos on there with my kids. I just didn't want them involved. Um,
Yeah.
it could go from like 50 people like following my page to 32,000 within a week. Yeah, it was.
That's insane.
How do you cope with that? Well, I mean, you guys are sitting at what, 150,000 something odd um followers on Threads. I mean, that had to be a heck of a pill to swallow.
It was, yeah.
It's pretty mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that too. Because don't you feel that
Sure.
way, that now that you have all these people that are following you, that your integrity, like keeping your integrity in it, keeping your honesty in it, and keeping your ego out of it are the three
Yeah.
things that I often talk about.
Yes. I don't think I've ever really had an ego. I have been a wallflower. I've been really aware before I spill the beans, before out into the ether, how people could interpret things. So I really think through the problem, maybe too much to a degree. Um, but yeah, this hit me. This just absolutely hit me. It really makes me rethink how, my kids get online, what they do, but that's a whole nother story.
I think that humility is really indicative of Minnesota in general, and
Yes.
we've seen that play out on a larger scale with how we have helped each other through
Yeah.
all of these last few months. And thank you for your role in it, because bringing awareness to what has been happening is a big part of it.
Yeah. Thank you. It's yeah, to try and figure out how to navigate this whole thing. No, I had jury duty the following Monday after I shot it.
Oh
What am
my
I?
God.
So that-
Oh my God.
yeah, I had, it was the least timely thing ever. Granted, I did enjoy the process. I think everybody's got to go through it once. Um, but it couldn't have hit at the worst time, going down to the government center.
And
Um,
you can't have your phone when you're on jury
no,
duty, right?
nope. So that was off. Try to create a website, try to do all the things I needed to do with this image, copyright it. There's no guidebook. You
Right.
ask your friends, and maybe they've had some sort of knowledge of what to do, but try and navigate that during your little lunch break. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the one benefit with being downtown during that whole experience was, I was able to stand outside of First Avenue when Tom Morello and Bruce Springsteen were there. Um,
No.
Yeah.
um, and that was something to see. I wish I would have been in the room, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell that it's affecting everybody. I mean,
Hmm.
people going downtown, and you've got the narrative that Minneapolis is just some hellhole. If
It's
for a
not. It's
lack of a better
beautiful.
term, it's not at all.
It's such a
And it's a
beautiful
shame.
city.
Yeah. Um,
Did you guys see
you
that
know,
I think Bono wrote another song that's dedicated
You
to
you
Renee
too.
Good that just came out?
yeah,
American
they dropped,
Obituary.
yeah,
Yeah.
they dropped it yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
Yeah.
haven't heard it yet. I'm going to listen to it this afternoon. I was going to listen to it earlier and then I knew I had to do this podcast and I'm sure I'm going to break down in tears when I hear it. So I didn't want to
You
listen to
will.
it and then come on here
You
and have
will.
my
I
face
did.
all red. So,
it,
but
it's
yeah,
amazing how all of this is going to resonate with us for the rest of our days with music and imagery. And, we've gone through a couple of global events here in the last 6 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Christy and I have talked about how we love Minnesota, but we're ready to not be the focal point of political upheaval anymore.
right,
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Monica's a teacher. She was a music teacher for 30 years and we've had a couple teachers on our podcast and I looking at it from a like a bird's eye view, I kind of see teachers as the witnesses and as the caregivers during this time that we're struggling. They're taking care of our children. They're watching our children navigate this path and watching the families navigate this path because a lot of teachers, especially in Columbia Heights, are becoming involved with families and helping with backup plans in case a parent gets taken. I see artists as the healers, visual artists, musical artists. We are the healers because we
Yeah.
take all of the emotion and we process it and we put it out in the world in a way that helps people internalize and kind of integrate what's going on. So I think that
You
that is so important.
you nailed it. I think you absolutely nailed that statement.
Yeah. And
It's
I think that you sound like a very kind, compassionate person who feels connected to the people around you. And so that must feel really good to you to be playing that role and filling that role that people, because we need people like you. So,
well, thanks. It's it was an unexpected role. My handle on Threads was up north daddy, and somebody made the comment that just it shook me. Uh, You're the you're the dad that everybody wanted but didn't expect, or something to that degree. Somebody that they wanted but didn't deserve. That's what it was.
Mm.
And it rattled me. The first week, hearing people say what they felt with honesty, and then hearing it as a very modest Minnesotan, um, it's a tough pill to swallow. I appreciate every comment that was made, but yeah, I will take being the healer any day. If I can
yeah,
help somebody out in some way, I will do so. I will put everybody else first, and I will come last. Like the dad eating the scraps off the plate and letting everybody else eat first. But yeah.
We'll take more people like you in the world.
Well,
absolutely. The
thanks.
world needs more people like you. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for sharing all your experiences. Do you have any final words or final thoughts before we sign off?
Final words. Um, I guess if there is anything, it's give someone a hug. Um, Let people share their experiences. Um, Smile at somebody randomly. Um, be a good person. Uh, don't hold a grudge. It's all these little things I try to teach my kids. Um, it's not hard to be nice, really, and
No,
it's contagious as hell. And the more people do it, the better off I feel like we'll all be. I don't
that's
know. That's
amazing.
probably what I got.
And
Well,
now
that
I'm
was
crying.
perfect. I think that was perfect.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. Can't get any
Yeah.
better than that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing everything with us, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks for
you for
being here
having me.
today. This was like a total dopamine hit for me. And I'm holding back, like, as you were just talking, I'm kind of holding back tears a little bit because just listening to you, to you just convey with almost a sense of desperation. Just be nice. Just be nice people. Be good to
Yeah.
each other. Be kind to each other. Don't hurt each other. Take care of each other. That was
I'm not holding
wonderful to
back.
hear.
The tears
Yeah.
are falling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
No, I think we've seen, kind of what I was alluding to, but in a mass scale with Minnesotans in general. When it hits you in the face like it has, um, people seem to, that Minnesota nice is a real thing. And with smartphones and social media, we do get to see it full frontal, if you will, for lack of a better term, but we do get to see it. And I love that Threads, people are latching onto it and
yeah.
enjoying every moment of it. And I think there's some sort of turning the tides here. And I'm optimistic that we're gonna come out on the other end a better place. At least I sure as hell hope so, because this has been one hell of a 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
I'm hopeful too. I'm an eternal optimist, and that has been very much challenged this last year, and especially these last couple months. But seeing Minnesota rise has strengthened that again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We just we appreciate it, and when I kind of reached out to you on a lark, and I'm so glad that you said, yeah. I feel like everything we all do is a lark on Threads, right? All the
Pretty
unlikely
much.
stuff happens on Threads.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
This
yeah,
is
and
my
we
first
actually.
podcast, so
Oh, cool. It's kind of funny because Eric and I were at an event a couple weeks ago and didn't realize we were in the same room together, because when I found out he was there, I was like, oh my God, if I had known you were there, I would have totally fangirled over you. So, yeah.
well, that was a
So
good time up there in Hanover.
it was. It was. We got to be there for Doug Chapin's kickoff for his campaign. So we're super excited about that. We just
Yeah,
interviewed him last week. So,
he's a good, honest dude. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, he's just honesty. I think is a very welcome trait, and I would love
yes.
to see him kick Emmer out of there.
And we've gotten
Yes.
to know him pretty personally. And what you see is what you get with him.
Yeah,
Like what you saw at that event is what he is like in real life, because like we talk to him all the time. And it's all,
Yeah, he's
he's
just a
very
nice guy.
genuine. Yeah.
that's
Yep.
Yeah.
amazing.
We were intimidated to talk to him, and he's just a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's as
He is.
grounded as you can get from what
Oh,
when I talked to him online and in person. He was just a straight shooter, honest dude.
he is.
Yeah.
He is. He's got a very sharp, he's got a great sense of humor, but he never once forgets that he's talking to another person across the way from him, whether you're on a screen or in face to face. He is very much aware that he's interacting with another human. And I think that is going to go far in Washington, because I think far too many of our representatives forget that their job is to represent and interact with the humans. Eric, thank you so much for sharing this with us today, and your art, your beautiful personality, your being able to spend time with you. I'm walking away from this interview today walking on clouds and filled with sunshine, even though it's a cold, snowy, gray day here in Minnesota. I've got a major dopamine hit from this interview. I just thank you for being here, and thank you for agreeing to do this, and for bringing some light into our listeners' lives, because I think we all could use a little bit more light right now.
Thank you very much for having me. I had no idea what to expect, but this was just an absolute treat for my first time podcast.
Yay!
No, thank you very much, both of you, Christy and Monica.
Yeah.
Glad to have you with us. And to our listeners, if you're finding meaning in the stories we're sharing, if something moves you, challenges you, makes you see the world a little differently, please like, comment, and share. It helps more than you know. It puts our work in front of more eyes and goes miles in helping us grow this amazing community.
And follow us everywhere at The Politics Chicks on Substack, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Thanks for being a part of our community. Keep shining your light so we can find each other in the dark.
And remember that we're always stronger together. Thanks, Erik, and thanks
Thank
to our
you.
audience for being with us today. We'll see you guys later.
Bye all.
Thank you.